All right, welcome to San Diego Unified Office Skills Training video series, Tips and Tricks. In today's video, we're going to be discussing how to send a Google form and also how to add collaborators to a Google form. So welcome to our training today. Thank you for being here. First thing I'm going to do on my browser is I'm going to switch to my sandy.net Google Drive account. And I know it's my sandy.net Google Drive account because over here, if I simply hover over the account information, it shows my sandy.net email address. And just as a reminder, everyone within the school district, all staff, all employees that have a sandy.net email address have access to all of the Google apps, including the sandy.net Google domain drive. And that's what we have here is the Google Drive for us for the district, for myself. And in here, I've got something we're going to look at today. Here's our practice folder that we're going to go into because we're going to talk about how to send forms out for other people to fill out. And there's a couple ways to do that, and also how to add collaborators, people that can help us create the Google form. So I have that in my practice folder here. So I'm going to double click on it to drill down. All right, and here I have several subfolders, practice subfolders. I also have several different files down here. We know what kind of file they are by simply looking at the icon. This is a Google Doc, a Google Sheet, a Google Slide, and this is the one we're interested in. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to simply drill down on this, double click to open it up in our browser. All right, we can see it just opened up in our browser, and here it is. This is just a pretend form. Doesn't have a lot of information on it. We've dolled it up a little bit. We've added a nice picture of some beautiful horses out in a beautiful sunset somewhere. And simply one question, what is your name? And so when we are done creating our Google form and we want to send it out to individuals to fill out, there's a couple different ways we can do that. We're going to go up here and we're going to click on the send button in our Google form user interface. And we get this send form dialog box. It gives us several options. So the first thing I want to point out is that we have the option to send out an email to all the individuals that we want to fill out this form. And it, by default, opens up to that section right there. If for some reason we just want the link, we can click on this button here, and we can simply make a copy of this link. We can then put that in an email and send it out to a bunch of people, or we can add it to a web page or something like that. And if we want to shorten it, this is kind of a cool feature. We can click on that and it actually shortens it. And then we can copy it and paste it wherever we want to get it out there to the people that are going to, that we want to fill out that survey or that form. And then there's a third option here. If you are one of those people, and I'm not, that likes to build web pages and be able to add stuff into HTML language, well, it gives you that option to copy that source code to be able to embed it into a web page with the HTML hypertext markup language. It allows you to do that. That's pretty cool. But for most of us, we're just going to be sending emails. So let's go back to here. So another thing that we see up top, it says automatically collect respondents, San Diego Unified District email. That's pretty cool. It automatically does that. That eliminates us having to have a question within the form that says, hey, what's your email address? If it automatically collects it, we get the correct email address. There's no way that someone could add an incorrect email address. And so that's a nice feature that they have right there to be able to do that. And so we look down, here's the subject of the email, sharing practice. That's the name of this particular Google form that we've made. And then there's a message here. I've invited you to fill out a form. If I want to change that, I can. I can simply select it and start typing out a new message. For our purposes, that sounds good enough. We're going to do that. But there's still even another way to do this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this box here that says include form and email. This is kind of cool. And so I'm going to go up here to where it says to, and I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to type in the beginning of my my district email, sandy.net email address. And let's see if we can find me. There I am right there. And so I want the form to be included in the email. So let's take a look and see what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and send it. Now this may take a couple of seconds. So this is a good time to remind us that all things Google are happening up in the cloud. The cloud is a euphemism for the internet. And another way to say it, it's the Google server farms. Think of 4 Costco warehouses with floor to ceiling, top of the line computers, and at every click of the mouse and every stroke of the keyboard at near the speed of light is racing back and forth through our browser, and it's making a connection to that Google server farm, and then it's sending the information back to us. In this case, it's sending an email to my San Diego Unified email account. So let's go ahead and refresh that and see if we can find it here. It hasn't shown up yet. Sometimes it takes just a couple seconds. Sometimes it takes longer than that. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and go back to where we were. Let's go back to our one here. Let's go back up to send, and we're going to do another way to do this. So we're not going to include it this time. And so I'm going to simply put in TJ, and there it is. There's my Sandy.net email address. And again, this one is not selected. And so we're going to see the difference of the two once they arrive there. So I'm going to say send. All right. And let's go back and see if one has arrived yet. It's taking its sweet time. I will tell you that I just practiced this a few moments ago to make sure it was working, and it took like 1 second to get there. So sometimes things get held up. We'll just have to wait for a few seconds to see those two show up. That's all right. Let's go back and figure out the rest of this. So if we go back here, again, to this email address, we can start typing in one by one. If we happen to have a number of different emails in a big list somewhere, we could certainly do it that way, where we could copy and paste the email addresses in here, or you just keep looking for the ones that you want to add to it. So for example, we could do our trainer T2, Sir Paul McCartney, our pretend trainer. Click it again, we've got Ringo Starr there. Click it again, I've got George Harrison, and click it again, we've got John Lennon. All right, and so now we can just keep adding more and more people there just by typing out their email address. And if we've sent messages to people before or used their email addresses in the Google Forms or any of the Google apps, then those names will pop up, those email addresses will pop up. And again, I can change the subject or the message in any way I want. If I want to include the form in the email, I can, or I can just send them the link, which is what's going to happen here. And when I do that, I simply click send, and it will do that. But before I do that, I would like to point out also that we can, in this send form dialog box, we can add collaborators. And we can do that by simply clicking here, but there's another way to get to that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll just click send for right now, make that go away. Let's go back and check and see if our email addresses have shown up yet. Nope, not yet. So there you go. All things Google. Sometimes things go slow, sometimes they go fast. It could be a holdup in a couple places. It could be at the Google server farms. There could be a holdup there, or it could be within the San Diego Unified School District that it's struggling to get the messages through. There's just a large volume going across the network, something like that. And so it can take a second, or it can take a few minutes. We've seen it take even longer than that. So here we are, we're back in our practice Google form here. And there's another way I told you could get to collaborators besides right here, is just by this vertical ellipsis. It's just essentially a more button. And when we click on it, we see down here it says add collaborators. So what's the difference? Let's go ahead and click on collaborators and we'll find out. So here's some people that I've added to this one already, and I can add more if I'd like. And so all I got to do to add editors to this, or I could make them, I could remove them, or I could transfer the ownership to them. But as far as collaborators, we're not talking about people viewing it. We're just talking, because those are the ones that are going to fill out the form. Editor means that they have the ability to add sections, add questions, remove questions, all of that. And if I want to add more, all I have to do is click up here, and it looks like it's going to go and give me some of the most recent ones that I've done. And let's click a T up there again about Ringo Starr. We'll add him. If I want to, at this point, type in a message saying, here you go, I need your help to add the section with the part that you're going to do or something, and send that message to them simply by saying send. And however they get their notifications for all things Google, whether in their browser or in an email form, it will be sent to them. And then of course, I only have the option to make them editors since they are collaborators at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and say send. and now they have been added as collaborators. And let's go back and check and see if what's going on with our emails here. I think we need to do this again, but this is a perfect opportunity to explain that sometimes messages can get lost because we're sending data packets back and forth from the computer we're working on through the browser across the internet. So this is a good object lesson. I'm just going to go ahead and do it a second time. I'm going to send it to myself, TJ, and let's see if I can find myself. Put an E in there. There I am. So it finally shows up, and I'm going to include it in the email form, and I'm going to say send. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see if we get lucky this time. All right. It's taking its sweet time. Isn't that great? All right, one more time. It's supposed to work that way. It did just a few minutes ago. Let's go back and let's try it without the email in there, without having the form within the email. So let's go ahead and click. There I am. And I'm going to say send. All right, so that should have happened by now. Here we go. All right. I apologize, I can't show that to you at this time, but for some reason, somewhere within the school district, it's not working. It worked just a few minutes ago when I was practicing this for this video. I apologize. But in short, what it means is when you get, let's just go ahead and show what it would kind of look like. I just clicked the preview button. And so this is what the form looks like. It's just a simple form, has a picture of some beautiful horses, and it says, what is your name? And then of course, it's just called sharing practice. This is what would appear in your email if you had selected that box saying to include it within the email. If that box wasn't selected, then let's go back to it real quick. Go to send. So again, if this box is selected, this is what you're going to see in your email. You'll actually have the form where you can actually answer the questions. And if this box is not selected, then you're going to get an email that simply just has the link that's there that you can click on that will then open up this Google form in Google Forms, and you can fill it all out and hit the submit button, just as you could as if it were in your email. Let's check one more time. Nope, not happening. For some reason, it's not showing up, and I apologize for that. That's unfortunate, but that's okay. We understand how that works. So at this point, this is how you can send your form out, get it out to all those that are going to fill it out. And also, if you want to add collaborators, you can simply do it down here, or you can hit the ellipsis button up here, the more button, and add collaborators that way and allow others to help you within your department or your school site edit that particular document. So thank you so much for being with us today. We hope that you will spread the word about the office skills training videos that we have online on our YouTube channel, as well as the training classes we have. And don't forget about my co-trainers. We have them for PeopleSoft and PowerSchool. And all of our classes can be found on the IT training calendar in the San Diego Unified IT department. So please go there and sign up for as many classes as you can. And again, please share this information and these classes and these videos with your colleagues so more people can gain access to these opportunities to learn. Thank you so much for being here today. And I got to do it one more time. Just see if it shows up. Come on. All right. We've waited about 15-20 minutes, and actually the emails finally came through. So just to reiterate, earlier in the video, you saw that I put my name here with my Sendy.net email address, and I did it twice. I did one time including the form in the email to fill out within the email, and then the second time I sent it with this box not being checked, and this is what it looks like. So the first one right here is the one where you're just going to click on it and it will take you to Google Forms to actually fill it out. And then the other one right here is where the form is actually included within the email itself. And of course, you see where you can add your name to it and fill out this form and submit it. So those are the two different ways that you can send it. Either send it without the form being in it, and just a link to it. In this case, the little link is right here, fill out the form, or actually have the entire form in the email itself. So again, that's just this box right down here. So thank you so much for coming to join us today. I had to add this, even though it took 15-20 minutes for some reason to show up. That's how it happens sometimes in the world of Google. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great day.